Okay, this is Group 2 for their advanced portfolio presentation.
The name of our film is called Brighton Eye. We called it this because we wanted to include where our film's set, which is Brighton, in the name of our title, a lot like Brighton Rock, which is one of the films that we were inspired by. We also thought it sounded a bit like PI, which is Private Investigator, and as our film is a detective crime sort of film, we wanted that to kind of make it a bit ironic, kind of put it in there. And then our tagline, which is "Open Your Eyes," is which we thought kind of worked with our title, as they both have eye in it, but in different ways. And so we thought it would link quite well together. Also, it's quite short and punchy, so we thought it would kind of stick in the audience's mind and remind them of the film. This is a synopsis of our film. In modern-day Brighton, a string of murders have caught the attention of Detective Vera Jones and her young apprentice Chris. As the murders become more frequent and the case becomes more twisted and confused, will the detectives solve the case, or will they be next?
Our first character is Vera Jones, who's in her mid-40s. She's quite an experienced detective. She's a strong female protagonist. She's slightly masculine because of her job, and she's been doing it for so long. She's smartly dressed, ordered and neat. We took inspiration from this character from Morgan Freeman as the detective in Seven, and Pam Grier as Jackie Brown in the film Jackie Brown. She's divorced and lonely, her children are adults, so she doesn't really see them anymore. And she sees the other detective, Chris, as a son, so she's got a motherly instinct to him. And the other character, Chris McCall, he's mid to early 20s, contradicting her. He's very inexperienced, he's her helper, he's scruffy and unorganised in his appearance. We took the inspiration as Brad Pitt in The Detective from Seven again, and Sam Riley as Pinky Brown in Brighton Rock, and he takes advantage of Vera's loneliness. He's quite a manipulative character.
This is the first part of our act, so the equilibrium. The main characters are introduced, learning about their backstories and everything like that. We find out that they're detectives, and they go to the scene of the first murder, which is normal for them, so everything's ordinary.
In the second act, the second murder happens, and the detectives work out there's more than one killer, so the body count begins to rise, and they're on edge, and the film gets quite tense, and eventually they catch the female killer and think things are over.
Vera works out that Chris is the other killer and confronts him on a rooftop, so like a standoff, like a wants to do. And then Chris jumps off the roof knowing that either way it's going to end badly for him. So, but she feels lost because obviously they've had that connection in the film. Our inspiration we took from Brighton Rock, so like obviously the setting, they're both set in Brighton. And they use this shot at the beginning of their trailer, which is like a dark ocean kind of going up on the rocks. We thought we could kind of mimic that in one of the scenes where they go to investigate a murder on the beach. And it's got quite large lighting because it's got half a light and stuff, so we could use that with Chris. Kind of see that he's quite bad. And yeah, just create challenging convention. And then Seven, because the detectives are partners, and one's inexperienced and one isn't, so it kind of gives us that thing. And then stylised murders, because there'll be quite a few of them.
Because it's an independent film, we won't be on like a massive label type thing, so it'll be released through Film 4. And because we won't have the budget of a blockbuster, now we have to find different ways of advertising, so we can't use like buses, billboards and stuff. And the film will be released through independent cinemas like Picture. use social networking for our marketing because obviously we don't have the budget, so it gets through to a load of people, and primarily the sort of young audience we're going for, sort of computer savvy group. And we'll use Web 2.0, so like apps and stuff, like Foursquare and stuff, like Monsters used, with like their infected zones. And throughout Brighton we're going to have that sort of outline with the hashtag Open Your Eyes. So it'll be quite ambiguous, but people will sort of see it and search it and sort of link back to our film.
Very good. Okay, quite impressive. Any questions from the floor? I've got a burning question. What's my burning question?
You say your arse on fire?
You can't say that, no. Who's the audience for your film?
Roughly, it's probably going to be rated 15. Because
Okay.
there will be murder scenes, but we want to kind of range it so there's from young teenagers to we can have it for adults as well, because it is kind of a detective thing.
Okay.
So it's not going to be that young.
Because I think it appeals to that kind of audience.
Yeah.
I think Brighton Rock's are 15. My obvious question then would be, you've got a female protagonist in her 50s. So how do you justify that for a younger audience?
Well, the younger generation are more kind of susceptible to that because obviously things are changing. They don't really see that as controversial, so it wouldn't really be a problem with it.
Okay. I guess you've got the male protagonist to offset that as well.
He's much younger than her, and that kind of shows the difference between them. And I think that even though they're quite old, the audience can still kind of relate because there are female police officers that old, and they're not kind of just all male and things like that. So.
Well, I guess audience would relate to it as probably a mother figure,
Yeah.
as you're portraying. And the male protagonist, he turns out to be a bad boy. So how do you kind of confront that idea within your film through her character? How do you kind of deal with that?
That was going to be like the bit where she kind of starts working out that he's the bad guy, and then she confronts him without arresting him. So they kind of have a fight about it.
Right.
We're going to try and show that for our trailer without kind of giving away that it's him that she's shouting at. So hopefully that'll kind of show that she's kind of torn between doing her job and being like a mum.
Okay. Well, that was my main idea about the film, really, that having that sort of older protagonist within it. But I think it's a really interesting idea. And very good luck with it. Thank you.